There are two versions of you walking around right now. You can't see the second one. He's not here yet, but he exists, quietly, somewhere in the future. And he is entirely built from the decisions the first version is making today. Every meal, every skipped walk, every "I'll start Monday", every early night you actually kept, every one that you didn't. He is being assembled right now in real time from your choices. And here is the strange part. Most of us live our entire lives making decisions as though the second version doesn't exist at all. Right, my name's John. I'm in my mid-40s, husband, father of 2 boys, and I have spent a frankly embarrassing portion of my adult life being very confident that future me would sort things out. Future me was going to eat better, exercise properly, get his sleep in order, start putting money aside. Future me was going to handle it. Present me had things on. Present me, it turned out, always had things on. And the quiet truth that took me far too long to understand is this. Future you doesn't arrive like a stranger at the door. He doesn't appear suddenly one morning, fully formed, different from who you are now. You become him, gradually, one ordinary day at a time. I want to tell you about 2 men I'm going to call James and David. Not real names, composite blokes. The kind of men you'd recognise immediately because they are, in some combination, most of us. James is 43. Decent job, decent life. Always meant to start looking after himself properly, just never quite found the right moment. He was going to join the gym when work calmed down. He was going to sort his sleep out after the kids got a bit older. He was going to eat better once things settled. The snacks on the sofa in the evening were a reward for a hard day, which, somehow, every day qualified for. The walks he meant to take stayed as intentions. The exercise bike in the spare room became a very expensive coat hanger that he navigated around without quite seeing anymore. James didn't make one big bad decision. That's the thing. There was no single dramatic moment where he chose this. He made 1,000 small, comfortable ones, each of which felt entirely reasonable at the time. David is 44. Same sort of life, same pressures, same busy mornings, same tired evenings, same limited hours in the week. He didn't do anything extreme. He's not one of those men with a meal prep spreadsheet and a protein shake named after him. He just walked regularly, 30, 40 minutes a few times a week, often listening to something he actually enjoyed. He ate reasonably well, not perfectly, but roughly most of the time. He went to bed at a sensible hour more often than not. He put a small amount of money away every month, not dramatically, just consistently. He made small investments in himself, almost boring ones. One future arrived by design, the other arrived by default. The tragedy with James is that he only noticed the gap recently. He's not broken, he's not in crisis. He just looked up one day and realised 20 years had passed, and the version of himself he'd always planned to become was still waiting, patiently, for him to begin. His back aches in ways it didn't used to. He gets tired in the early evening in a way that feels permanent rather than temporary. He's a bit softer, a bit slower, a bit less able to join in without quietly calculating whether it's going to cost him 3 days of recovery. And the most uncomfortable part? Nobody did that to him. Life didn't ambush him. He built it, choice by quiet choice, with the very best of intentions and no particular urgency. Which, if I'm being honest, is a description that fits a younger version of me so accurately, it's actually embarrassing to say out loud. There's a reason this happens to so many of us. It is not weakness and it is not stupidity. It is biology. Human brains are genuinely wired to prefer a smaller reward right now over a larger reward later. That preference kept our ancestors alive when the world was unpredictable and tomorrow was genuinely uncertain. It is far less useful when the choice is between 15 minutes on the sofa and 30 minutes of movement that will pay dividends in 15 years. The brain doesn't weigh those things equally. It never has. The sofa always wins the argument in the moment, because the moment is what the brain can see. The future is abstract. Comfort is immediate. Which is why the not starting never feels like a decision. It just feels like tonight. Waiting feels neutral. It is not. Every single day has an outcome. The days you invest in yourself and the days you don't are not the same day in different moods. They are votes. And over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, those votes accumulate into a result. Not a dramatic revelation. Not a sudden transformation in either direction. Just a man, standing somewhere in his future, who either has options or doesn't. The particularly unfair part is that the consequences take so long to arrive that there's no obvious feedback loop. Skip a walk today, nothing happens. Eat badly for a week, nothing visible changes. Stay up until midnight watching television 4 nights running. You're tired, but you were tired anyway, so it all blurs together. The cost is invisible for years. Which is precisely why most men don't take it seriously until it stops being invisible. And the opposite is equally true, which is the part I actually want you to hold on to. Walk regularly for 2 years and your body is genuinely different. Sleep properly for 6 months and your mood, your patience, your energy, your ability to actually be present with the people you love, all of it quietly improves. Save a small amount consistently for a decade and you have actual freedom. Not theoretical freedom, real options in your hands. Build strength gradually and maintain it. And at 55, you are still the man who can carry things, help people, join in, say yes. Small positive choices compound too. They just take the same patience to trust. And that patience is, in my experience, the actual hard part. David, at 44, is not a superhero. He still gets tired, he still has evenings where he doesn't want to do anything useful. He still eats biscuits. But his body works. He can do things without negotiating with his knees first. He went hiking with his kids last summer, and it was just a hike, not a medical calculation. He feels, in some quiet way that is difficult to describe, like he is still mostly on his own side. He made ordinary choices. He made them repeatedly. And they added up to a life where the future version of himself has genuine freedom. Not enormous freedom, just enough. Just the kind where you can still say yes to the things that matter. Freedom is earned before you need it. James is going to have to work harder now than if he'd started at 28. That is simply true, and it would be unkind to pretend otherwise. But the other thing that is true, and this is the part I want to say clearly, is that he hasn't missed the window. The window for meaningful change, for most men, is longer than the panic makes it feel. Starting at 43 is not ideal. It is, however, enormously better than starting at 53. And 53 is enormously better than never. The goal was never perfection. It was never 6 mornings a week and clean eating and a resting heart rate that impresses strangers. The goal is simply this: leave future you in a slightly better position than he'd have been if you'd done nothing. That's it. That modest, quiet, entirely achievable ambition. The future version of you has a very specific and entirely fair request. He would like some strength. Not to impress anyone, just enough to stay capable and useful. He would like some energy. Not performance energy, just the ordinary kind that lets you be present at the end of the day, rather than hollowed out. He would like some financial breathing room. Not wealth, just enough that a difficult month doesn't become a crisis. He would like relationships that are still intact, because you showed up for them when it was inconvenient. He would like a body that works, not perfectly, just reliably. He would like to thank you for making those things possible. And the strange, quiet truth is that he is paying attention right now. Not in some mystical sense, just in the very practical sense that the decisions you make today are the materials he is made from. Every walk you take is a brick, every skipped workout a missing one, every early night a small act of kindness toward the man you are becoming, every excuse a small withdrawal. He can't change what you decide. He can only receive it. I say all of this to my boys, Or I will when they're old enough to hear it properly, because I genuinely wish someone had explained it to me earlier. Not as a lecture, not as a health talk, just as a man, sitting with them, saying, the person you become is not accidental. He is assembled, quietly, from ordinary days, and he is worth thinking about before he arrives. One day, you'll become the man your daily habits have been building. The question isn't whether that day is coming. The question is whether you'll be pleased to meet him. The future version of you is paying attention. He's watching every choice you make, every walk you take, every early night, every excuse. One day, you'll meet him. Make sure he can thank you.